What is going on, YouTube? Ginger on Wheels here. It is a rainy Sunday afternoon and I've got some time on my hands and I felt like riding my scooter around, but it was susceptible to the rain and the electronics. So I decided to spend the day kind of like waterproofing and mudproofing the scooter. And also I bought some Loctite Red to apply to all the screws to make sure that the scooter stays intact when I'm riding it. Basically what I'm gonna do with this is go through and unscrew every screw on the scooter, or as many as I can find, and apply this thread locker to the screw. And all you do is just smear a tiny amount of this stuff on the edge of the screw, or on the threads, and then screw the screw back in. And this is kind of like an adhesive that keeps the screw screwed into your scooter. Another thing that I wanted to do was make some mud guards for the rear suspension. I don't know if you can see up in there very well, but the two rear suspension coils are not guarded by anything. They're just kind of open. So whatever the tire spits up when it's swinging around at high speed is gonna get jammed all up in the suspension, which is kind of like not the best design. So what I've done is I went to Home Depot, and that was yesterday. I got this stuff, and it's a stair cover. It's like a thick rubber mat that's meant to go on your stairs. I chopped this into the appropriate size piece to cover that suspension up, and I've got that right here. It looks like it is 4 3/4 inches by 6.5 inches. So it's just a little piece of that rubber that I cut, and it's a rectangle. And basically, you just slide it right down into here. And there are little points on the scooter where I'm gonna have glue that goes along here. And then I'm gonna also have glue up in here. There's like some side brackets that I'm gonna put glue on also. Right in there, and then also on the side. I took the liberty of spraying these two red springs in here with silicone lube first. This WD-40 water-resistant silicone lubricant. I've had really good success with it on suspension in the past on other scooters, namely the Nan Robot. Yeah, so sprayed the springs, cleaned them off with that silicone, and then now I'm gonna glue this plastic mat on with 60-second Loctite universal glue. It's kind of like a substitute for contact cement. Contact cement takes a little longer to set, and this is like a quick setting contact cement. And then also, I'm going to be making a fender extender in the back. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it yet, but I've got a lot of this rubber stuff left over, and I'm gonna create some sort of piece that extends this rear fender out. And I'm also gonna, I think I have the piece created for the front. Looks like this. This is gonna be my front fender. And that is gonna act like an extension on the front here. So it's just gonna go like that. I'm also noticing right now that they did take some measures to waterproof the front area here. This is pretty cool. There's a little plastic cover for the wires to go into the deck piece where the battery is. But just in case there aren't some waterproof pieces, I bought this. This is a sealant. This is like a glue. And I bought that initially for the brake light wire that runs through the fender here. I'm gonna seal that up really well. But also what I want to do is just find any points of entry for electronic components and seal them up as best as I can with this. All right, so I've got the top, I guess this is technically the bottom of the scooter, but I've got one of the pieces adhered using that Loctite 60-second fast setting multi-purpose adhesive. So I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. And then the plan is to go up underneath here. I get some adhesive on this section and then glue the rest of it down like that. But I don't want to toy too much with the rubber mat before this first top section is finished setting. I got the mud flap finished in here. So this is all sealed up now. Looks really nice. Just hoping it doesn't come off when I go off some big jumps or bumps or something. But for now it looks good. I'm happy with it. Okay, so on the fender, on the rear fender, there were 2 holes right here and there were 2 screws. And those 2 screws were holding on the rear brake light. And I've taken the 2 screws out and I'm gonna go around the edge of this brake light and I'm gonna put some of that silicone sealant on. I'm gonna pop it back on. I'm gonna put thread locker on the 2 screws and then put the 2 screws back in. And then this brake light will be all secured in there. I'm also gonna put some silicone sealant on this wire that runs along the inside here. That's for the brake light also. Quick update on the Loctite. There are 2 screws in the front here. One bigger one and one smaller one. And this bigger one is really long and it goes like way into the scooter. And it was really, really hard to get out. And I was starting to think it was already Loctited in there by the manufacturer. And about 3 rotations around, I heard something fall off or like fall down inside of the deck here. So it sounds like there was a bolt on the other side of this screw. So do not unscrew this screw. Unscrew the shorter screw though. The smaller screw was almost halfway out already. And I think that holds in this front light here. So you need to Loctite the smaller front screw, but do not touch this screw. I think it's already Loctited in and you don't want to mess anything up. But I did do these 4 individually, like 1 by 1 by 1. Don't take them all 4 out at the same time because I'm pretty sure they're holding something into the bottom of this, the deck here. I'm almost done doing the Loctite on the bottom screws here. I've done this screw, that screw, the 2 screws that I originally put in to put the kickstand in, and then I partially unscrewed this one and put Loctite here and then put Loctite in the back. I didn't want to undo that one completely because it's spring loaded and it would have been really hard to get back on. But I plan on doing these 2 and this one, and then doing the other ones on the other side. I want to do the one for the fender that makes the fender stick on. And then I'm going to flip the scooter over and do as many of the screws as I can find on the top side of the scooter. But basically this is all you do. You take the screw out. I've already done this one, but you put the blue Loctite goop on it. I've got my Loctite tube over here. But you just like smear the screw on it. And then put the screw back in the hole. And you want to tighten them down pretty good, but you don't need to go insanely tight because this Loctite will kick in and, with any luck, prevent the screw from coming out. Alright, so there's a little mud guard that goes here, and I've got that taken off already, right here. But it goes like this on your scooter. There's 3 Allen screws that take it off. And you're going to want to Loctite all those when you put them back on. But the reason I took that off mainly was so I could move these cables out of the way and take off this screw here, which is a part of the latching mechanism. And I'm going to Loctite that. And there's one on the other side as well. And I've seen people online on forums that have had troubles with that screw coming loose. And that is a major component of the latch. So I want to make sure that doesn't come loose on me. All right, here we are. 5.5, 6 hours later. Got all the screws Loctited. Got the rear fender made here. This little mud flap. Pretty freaking sweet if you ask me. Got all the components in here Loctited and sealed up with silicone sealant. We've got this rear little mud flap thingy installed, and then also that I don't know what I'm gonna call this, suspension cover installed. Pretty successful day. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Got a big mess to clean up and I'm starving. Been doing this for way too long. I deliver packages for Amazon on the side as like a side job, and totally missed the package shift I was supposed to do because I was just so in the zone with the scooter stuff. So yeah, if you were supposed to get an Amazon package and didn't get it, sorry about that. Scooter had priority today. But if you liked what you saw and you had fun following along and you want to follow along for more scooter videos, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and next step is riding this baby around off-road. That'll be a fun video to make.